everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Direct Application. I'm your host, Matt Harrington. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you've enjoyed a few of these. What we're trying to do with our solo blogcast is reflect on some posts that maybe I've done in the last couple of weeks. So if you're just catching up, go over to the website, www.harringtonbrands.com, read the post on public speaking, and then watch this. And my hope is to get a little bit of the inside baseball, a little bit more of my thought maybe around why we wrote it or some other nuggets of information. So a couple of things that I want for you to take away from that post, and there's like the top 12 tips of Harrington's public speaking. So please go ahead and read that. But I want to add to that a couple other things that I've learned from my mentors, watching other people. Back in the day, in the 2010s, I was doing a lot of training and a lot of work with a firm on public speaking. And so a couple of things that I just learned and took away from was really start to think about your 90-second opening. So as you get up and you're thinking about public speaking, you're thinking about presenting, you're thinking about going before the board, you really want to make it impactful, right? So this isn't just normal talking, although that does require some public speaking. But if you really want to make an impactful statement, maybe you're speaking at an annual meeting or anything like that, think about your 90-second open. It has to grab people's attention. And so be thinking about what is so important about this talk that I need to share? Is it a short story? Is it a statistic? Is it something that's going to be provocative enough to grab people's attention? So really, it's first impressions, right? And so 90-second opening is all about the first impression. And so you really want to spend, if you spend any extra amount of time on your preparation, you want to spend it on your 90-second opening. The other part is I always like to somewhat quickly into any presentation, ground it in data and maybe some statistics. And so, beyond me, beyond our personal opinion, beyond, other information you may be receiving, here's some data on the topic. And that can range from anything from conflict in the workplace to how chambers create a better vision, any of that stuff. I always want to, in the first 2 or 3 slides, provide maybe 2 to 3 data points, maybe have them guess it, right? So you can play a little game, make sure you're engaging with your audience, and you say, how much do we think percentage goes up or down here? And so that helps activate the brain. It helps cement some of your authority and also gives people something really, something to think about. And that could be part of your 90-second opening. A tip that was always interesting to me, and I heard this from one of my mentors, was especially if you're wobbly. I mean, physically wobbly, like you're standing up, you're nervous, you've got your shaking legs. Just put 2 fingertips on a surface. That actually helps ground you and helps build a center of balance for you. And so sometimes, especially when I find introverts and very shy people starting to give presentations, one of the comments I do make is, ground yourself a little bit. So just put your finger down. It doesn't have to be any show. It doesn't have to be big hands down on anything. It's just 1 or 2 things to ground you, and that should help. The other thing I like to do, and probably people see this with my trainings all the time, I do like to carry around a piece of paper, some notes with me. Don't be ashamed of that. Hey, give me a minute. I need to look at, I just want to make sure we got everything here. Again, that's coming across more natural and authentic. One of the things I like to do, especially if I'm in PowerPoint, is go to the note sections and printing, and I print 3 PowerPoint slides per page, and I have the little lines, and usually I'll just write 1 or 2 things that I want to capture there. I'm not writing a script, right? I'm just writing things that we might want to capture. One of the final things, I said this in the post, and I can't impress upon this as much, that I want you to practice out loud. Okay, it's important. Best is to practice in front of people, but even if that's too much, be saying it in front of the mirror, be saying it around. Oftentimes, we think we're practicing when we're going over it in our head and we're thinking about what we're going to say. And it's just that extra piece that commits you to what you're saying. Remember that you say it, which means you verbally have to use your mouth, right, and use a sense, and then you hear it. Right? And so you get a second sense of it. And so that's part of the power of practicing and making sure that you're saying things out loud. The last little piece I want to share And this just helps take the pressure off. You know, when we hear something, when we're going to a lecture or presentation, we only retain about 5 to 10% of that. It's kind of unfortunate, especially for us trainers and speakers in the room, right? You're only going to remember about 10% of what I tell you in a 2-hour workshop. Yeah, that's frustrating. Reading gets you about 10%. Watching a demonstration, so watching somebody do it, is about 30%. Group discussion, right? Social learning is very powerful. So I want to get you engaged. I want some group learning happening, not just me talking. Get you about 50% retention. Here's the kicker, and this is why I would encourage that presentation and speaking is some of the most powerful leadership skills. It's simple on the surface, right? You just need to make sure you're getting yourself out there and speaking and presenting. But teaching others, and that's what you're doing in a presentation, is 90% retention. That if I can teach another person exactly what I just learned now, I'm going to retain it 90% more, even myself, right? And then they're going to have 10%, but then we should be encouraging them to go present. And that's powerful, the ability to teach and present and speak with other people. So hopefully you've enjoyed a little bit of that deeper dive into the recent post that we made. Make sure that you share, subscribe. Again, if you need extra information or want to go read that blog playlist or have me help you with public speaking, go over to www.harringtonbrands.com. Again, thank you and have a great day.